Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm interviewing Stefan van Mourik of Lucid Visuals, a local videographer here in Vancouver, who, like me, has chosen to make Vancouver their home. I've seen some of Stefan's work, and I know that people rave about his unique take and his very natural style of in getting the best visuals out of the people that he's working with. But that's just my impression. Stefan, tell me more about you, your business, and how long you've been trading.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much, Joe, for facilitating this and giving other entrepreneurs an opportunity to speak up. I think it's a really cool opportunity. So for me, my journey kind of began in high school. I got my first camera from my dad. It was one of those DV cams with the little tapes, but some people have experienced beta cams. That was out of my generation. I'm one
Yeah, on the
one
shoulders like
before.
this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I learned there that I was just so fascinated by what you could do when it comes to editing and creating a story out of nothing, really, out of an idea, and then give people an experience when they watched it. So I just fell in love with the video making process, and I went to film school in the Netherlands. I was born and raised there, and then when I was about 21, I did an internship in Vancouver. And that was 10 years ago. And that's where I fell in love with the Pacific Northwest and the lifestyle it had to offer. And it just so happened that the internship I was working at was really fond of me, and I was really learning a lot there. So when I had to go back to the Netherlands and graduate, on the actual date that I graduated from film school, I got a phone call from the owner of the agency in Vancouver saying, hey, we just kind of created a new role. Do you want to take it on full time? It would be like editing and filming all sorts of corporate videos. And that was literally on the same day I graduated. So it was
Wow.
smooth sailing for me from there. There was, I did not think any second of whether I should do it or not. I basically just said yes, jumped on the train, and started working full time as a videographer with an agency, and did some phenomenal projects. Got to travel the world a bit, and did some international, bigger corporation internal videos. And then I started to realize there was a lot of, especially in Vancouver, I saw microbreweries and all these smaller business people doing their passion, basically. And I really wanted to help them, but it wasn't, the company I worked for wasn't really taking on those types of clients. They were going more for the bigger guys, the multinationals and international locations. And I realized, well, it's something I'm really passionate about, and I want to help these smaller sized small business owners basically with their marketing needs. So that's when I decided maybe it's time for me to kind of see what I can do if I take the leap and become the business owner myself. And
How long
little did
ago
I
was
know,
that?
that was in 2017, May
Okay.
2017. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be awesome. I was going to have a lot more time. I was going to be my own boss, and it was just going to give me all this freedom. And little did I know that it can definitely be that way, but there's a lot required in order for me to build my lifestyle that way. But I've been loving, yeah, I've been loving every step of it, and I've been doing that business for 3 years now. So I basically help small business owners create video content that really extracts their personality, so they can use that for their marketing strategy. And yeah, having had a lot of fun with that, but then of course we all got into the wave of the pandemic, and that changed a few things around.
Well,
But
let me
maybe,
let me interject. So I'm going to ask you about the COVID and particularly how you dealt with it. But
yeah,
before we do, so the people watching this can understand, if they're looking to choose a videographer right now, what is it that is the style of Stefan or
the
Lucid?
style of me. Ooh.
Yeah, what's your style so that we can understand what your ideal customer is really going to be buying?
Yes, I love it. That's a great question. So I'm really about personality, and I work best when people are very confident, very expressive of who they are, but they just don't have the technical knowledge on like how do I put a video together. Those people are typically my ideal clients because they are the brand, and they get chosen for what they do because of who they are and how they show up in the world. And then it's just my job to convey that same energy they have on camera.
And how do
And
you attract people like that if they're your ideal customer? How do you attract them?
yeah, well, I do a lot of networking. I used to do a lot of networking, and I that's what was so fascinated by, that the longer you start to network, the more it starts growing. And if you do good work, then the work will automatically just go around. So I started finding that after this 3-year mark, a lot of it just kind of comes to me because of the little seeds I've planted along the way. It's a long-term process. But yeah, I've gotten a lot of word of mouth referrals, and then just because the work I've done, people ask like, "Oh, who did your video? I love the video you did," and that's kind of how it has come around.
So
Um,
I'm going to just ask you to dig a bit deeper on this. You talk about planting seeds.
yes,
Give me an example of a seed. So if someone's watching this, that can germinate for them, and they can think, ah, Stefan's my guy.
all right. So what I usually tell people is that you're doing something other people are also doing. It's not like super unique.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, it might hurt the feelings, but there's a lot of us out there, and a lot of us provide similar services. But you know that yours is different, and that is probably because of who you are. Like, people, there's a certain amount of, or a certain type of client that you attract because of who you are. It's the same with me. I have a certain sense of who I am that resonates with certain people, and for other, they're like, oh, that's too loosey goosey, or that's too cheesy or too funky for me. And that's the beauty of it. I think when you find that right fit, or when you have that connection with that business owner, or at least for me, it's almost like I can handpick, like, you're an amazing person, you're an amazing business professional, but your personality is just not going to make the video that the work for you, because I would do it in my style and it's very different,
Mhm.
versus meeting that business owner that is just very aligned, has that sense of self and fun, and wants to do it in a creative way, and isn't afraid to kind of push the edge a little bit. That's when I feel we get along the best, and where it
But
comes out the greatest.
as you know, I'm from the UK, and in the UK, there was a uniform that you had to wear, if you like, depending on what profession it was. So if you worked in the city, you'd have to have a three-piece suit. The world's changed a lot, and I guess being able to express who you are within your business is something that's a lot easier than it was maybe even 15 years ago. And so your ideal market are those people who are comfortable in their own skin, if you like, and how they show up in business, being true to themselves. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I love that sum up. I think
Oh,
that's definitely a great way of putting it. And then they are also struggling to find a way to bring that personality to an online presence or an online audience.
well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So going back to the elephant in the room that I took you away from, we're over 100 days into this pandemic. The whole world is in different degrees of panic or not, some growing out of it. I think we're very fortunate here in BC, but it has impacted each and every one of us. How has COVID-19 impacted your business?
Yeah. To tell you the truth, Joe, I think it's kickstarted me to really allow me to think of where I want to go with my business,
Mhm.
and set me up where I'm not really creating my business um, because I want to create a business, but I'm creating the business to support the lifestyle I want to live.
Cool.
And that was a big enlightenment moment for me, a lucid moment, if you will, because all of a sudden my projects got either canceled or postponed, obviously, because we couldn't meet in person, and was doing a lot of any project I do with business owners in the Vancouver area. It was always me in person on location, and it really got me kickstarted in the process of being able to work on something more remotely, having not to be particularly right in this location, because since I'm from the Netherlands and my partner's from Brazil, we want to be able to travel and spend more time with our families there, especially now that my siblings are getting kids and wanting to spend a few months out of the year there. I realized, okay, I need to come up with a model where I can be away for a longer time and still generate an income.
Cool. So are there been one or two particular actions that you, or decisions you've made, more to the point, on how you do your business then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are
So
there any of those you can share?
Yeah, for sure. Here we go. So I've decided I love teaching, and I grew up in a family where teaching is big. My mom's a teacher for highly intelligent elementary school kids, and my brother's a teacher. And I always knew there was some sort of way where I would be teaching. I just didn't know really how. And now I've finally realized the way I can bring my business online and help scale it and actually help serve more people is to teach business owners how they can use video in their business.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think we all can.
Yeah. Especially now, right?
Yeah.
I think like it was already an idea beforehand, because I went to a few networking events and I saw actually so many financial advisors. They were all out there, and there were like 4 or 5 at the same event. And I was wondering, like, what would make a person choose one over the other? And I don't think it has much to do with the service they offer. It has much more something to do with who they are and how they convey themselves and whether that resonates with those people. And so I figured, if I can somehow create a teaching or a step-by-step framework on how do you do that, how do you put yourself out there and show up as yourself so that you attract the type of client that you want to work with through video being basically the vehicle that will get you there. I think that's going to help a lot of business owners, and it really got me excited about something that I can use that will support the lifestyle I'm looking for. So that's what I've been really focusing on during the pandemic, is to kind of wrap my head around, okay, I've got to pivot my business a little bit here. I would still do in-person, on-location video shoots, but really be specific on who I help and whether they're a good fit for me. And then focus on putting together a framework where people can teach or they can learn how to put themselves out there, how to get over the fear of being in front of the camera, and just sharing their message in their own unique way, and so that they attract the right type of audience. That's what I've been focusing on.
That's pretty awesome. It sounds very much that it hasn't been so much a pivot, though, as on the face of it, you're going in a slightly different direction. Instead, that you've brought the future much closer to you, because this was all part of your plan.
Yeah. I remember telling my partner at the beginning of the year, I set some goals, and one of my goals was 80% of my income should come from my online products. And that happened in April already.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, it wasn't much, but at least it was kind of like, I like the analogy of like standing. I was in October, I was kind of dabbling with this idea, and I was kind of like standing at the edge of the pool, kind of looking at it. And then when COVID hits, it's kind of that push in the water that just really helped me to get in there and just figure it out, because I think it's kind of what I needed to get started.
And did anyone assist you in arriving at that decision point sooner than planned? Did you have a
Yeah,
pivot strategy with anyone, for example?
not really. I've been following someone online for a while who's been teaching people on how to do exactly that. His name's James Wetmore, and I've been listening to his podcast for a while, and bought a program where he teaches that. So that's been really helpful.
Mhm.
And then only recently I got engaged with a coach again. Her name is Vanessa Leon, and
Okay.
she's really about tapping into the power of her thoughts and becoming more aware of her thoughts. And it's funny because that's how I work. I think where everything starts, no matter what type of business you build, it starts from the inside, from inside of us. So even though sometimes when things don't work, we try to look for what external tactics or changes we can make. But I've realized over the last 30 years, I mean, who am I here? But for me, at least, what was really powerful is to kind of go more internally and see, okay, what are the thoughts that I'm thinking to myself that are blocking me to get to the next step? Because ultimately, I think no matter how good you get at Facebook ads or certain tactics that might help you grow your audience, if there's something internally that's just that will just be the ceiling. You won't be able to grow further than that. And so that's what my coach really helped me to do, is to think limitless, really, about what could be possible, and whether that's during this COVID period or not. That's just an external source. It has nothing to do with what I could accomplish.
No, without a doubt. And I think that's awesome that you're getting support of a coach. Uh, Thoughts become things, and things are the symptoms of the quality of our thoughts. Is
Oh,
another
nice
way of,
one.
yeah,
I
another way
like
of
that.
phrasing it. So I've recorded it, so I'm going to make a note of that myself later.
Yeah, there you
So,
go. Dropping quotes.
exactly. So interesting question for you. It's been said that smart people learn from their mistakes, but wise people learn from the mistakes of others. So we've got an audience here of both entrepreneurs and regular audience, frankly, who could benefit from learning from your own experiences. So what mistakes have you made along the way?
Hmm. Many mistakes. Many mistakes. Yeah, I think, well, probably the biggest lesson is that we ourselves are the source of where everything comes from. So no matter what goes on externally, I think we always should look within. And so maybe that's the first. I was quite skeptical about this at first, but I think that was my biggest mistake, is to not really look more inward and look at my own thought patterns and my own habits, and really peel those layers off to kind of get to the truth. So, and I see this with business owners that are in business for a long time. They kind of get just stuck on, this is the way I do things, and that's how I've been doing it for 20 years. And I've only been quite new to it, but I've had the pleasure of doing business with people that have been all over the spectrum. And that's, I think, the biggest mistake, is that we get stuck in our own ways, and that we can't see the forest for the trees anymore. So it's really helpful to sometimes just really take a step back and just question, is the things that you've done giving you the results that you're looking for? And if it hasn't been, then maybe it's time to change it, because you can't really get different results if you keep doing the same thing.
Absolutely. No, I think that's fantastic. Thanks for sharing that. Second to last question. I've got your email, website, and phone number. Is there anything else you want to add? Perhaps an offer or a proposal, how best to get in contact with you?
Yeah, so I've just finished my first 5-day video challenge,
Okay.
which was great. So I helped people just to show up for 5 days in a row. I gave them one topic each day that they would have to make a video about, just to get kind of over the fear of being in front of the camera. And I will do that again. So the best way to sign up for that is through stefanvanmourik.com/5-day challenge. I can send you the link as well, Joel.
if you would, because I've got Lucid visuals, but
Yeah,
let's take your personal one as well. That'll be awesome.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
And
Thank you.
and then from there, yeah, that's where people could sign up for an experience to help them get over the fear of being in front of the camera.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So I won't do that. People see enough of me already. um, but you're right. Last question for you. What's been the most inspiring thing for you today?
The most inspiring thing for me today. Well, I have to say I slept in, so my day is just getting started. We did a very beautiful hike at Cirque Lake near Whistler,
Yes.
and I think that's for me the most inspiring is to be able to even consciously decide, okay, it's a Monday, I'm going to sleep in because my body needs it, and it's a gorgeous day. Just to be able to appreciate what I've created so far. I guess as a business owner, especially, we tend to live in the future so much as to we set goals and we want to be always looking at where are we going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that takes away of just appreciating what we have right now, because that's really what we have right now. And as we've seen with COVID, anything can change in a second. So
Yeah.
for me, I guess that was the most inspiring thing for me this morning, was just a little layer of gratitude for we've got it pretty good here.
I echo that. So thank you so much, Stefan. I really appreciate your time this morning, and I look forward to sharing this with others. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for hosting this.
That's great.